What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Showtime, and it's the Blazer King with King's Critiques one more time for another episode in this little recording session. At least for the time being. Maybe I'll decide to do more later on. Anyway, we're going to start off with K-On!, which is a story of a high school girl who decides to create a band with a bunch of her friends. And, well, that's actually pretty much the plot. You know, they go to perform in a show for a talent competition and decide to continue on as a band, even start their own club to keep performing here and there to try and entertain the masses for different school festivities, and they end up actually getting to be a big deal and be offered to travel to perform elsewhere near the end of the series. It's only 2 seasons long with a movie, and there's not really a lot I can say about it, you know. It's pretty much the first girl trying to get a bunch of her friends or random classmates to join the club because they're good at various different instruments or good on vocals or something or another. Some of them are more hesitant at first, some of them are still hesitant even while in the club. But overall, it's, you know, a really cute show. It's got some good tunes, and it's not as good as like Love Live as far as the musical aspect goes, but it's still a pretty good show, you know. I know I say that a lot, but if you like the musical type of anime and, you know, comedies and stuff, it's worth checking out. But I really don't have much more to say on that, so I'm just going to keep it short and sweet, and 20-ish episodes plus a movie. Go watch. Anyway, next up we have something a little more intense with Kakeguri, which Netflix gave a live adaptation for some reason. But it's 2 seasons long, and it follows the story of a girl who, well, an entire school whose system is basically based off from gambling. You know, whether it be gambling money or themselves or body parts or blood, etc., etc. It's all about gambling for school status and their own personal status. And of course, our main character has to take away the pride from pretty much anybody she faces, man or woman. And the art style in this is beautiful, for the record, so you can actually see how demented the characters are, but it's all just so good. You know, in the second season, there's a plan to take over the school from a couple of the students that our main character has to try and prevent, in a sense. At least from what I remember, the second season only came out like last year or the year before. I think it was 2019. But yeah, it's another quick review since I don't really remember a ton specifically, except for what I said already. You know, it's pretty much the entire school has to gamble everything, whether it be money, themselves, both sexually and to be humiliated and everything in between. But it's not a hentai. It's just I only added the sexually part because the girl makes a joke about it a few times here and there, and there's like several different books based off from that. But yeah, as far as that show goes, I'm gonna say to watch it because it was still really good. As I again say about a lot of these shows, but I'm gonna move on to a bit of a weirder one. Girl Meets Girl. And in the base context, that sounds a lot more simplistic than it is. But honestly, it's a lot more complex than that. Because it's not simply, you know, girl meets a girl, falls in love, and that's it. No, it's guy becomes girl, and his best friend falls in love with him, and they decide no matter what, they decide to keep their relationship platonic, at least for a majority of the series, to where they decide, why keep it platonic and not just have fun with it? Again, not that kind of fun. They actually... Well, the last episode is just one of the cutest things I've ever seen in one of these shows, honestly. You know, it's completely lighthearted and wholesome, aside the whole gender bending thing, but it's not as bad as some other anime I've still yet to finish. So, depending on what you're into, it's worth watching. It's kind of weird, obviously, because the whole gender bend thing, but if you're into, like, fluffy type of shows, then check it out. These are probably going to be a bunch of quick reviews, since a majority of these I don't remember that well, nor have a lot to say about. Speaking of, though, we're going to go from fluff to a lot of fan service in Keijo. Now, Keijo is basically... How do I put this? It's kind of like sumo wrestling, but with no grappling. The only weapons you can use are the rest of your body except for your arms. And yeah, obviously it's about a bunch of girls who are participating in this sport. But after like the first few episodes, it becomes a lot more intense than just simply them smashing their hips into... Think of Dead or Alive, or Dead or Alive Extreme, but more extreme. Because it goes from simple, hip smashes into each other to apparently these girls can unlock abilities to help their matches. Which, yes, sounds weird, but honestly, it's not that bad. Like, once you see the Gate of Bootylonia, then you'll understand what I mean. And I don't remember if that was the actual name of the move, but it was something like that, and it was basically like something out of Fate, which made me laugh, honestly. It was one of the funniest things I've seen out of the show, but also kind of one of the hottest, because she had like 100 asses just kind of circling around the... It's probably in some kind of meme somewhere. But yeah, it's basically a fan service anime with some action thrown in, and a lot of cat fights, obviously, behind the scenes. But, as per usual, I'm going to say watch it because it was a really good show. I enjoyed it. If you're the kind of pervert I am, you'll probably enjoy it. But at least it's more tame than some of the other anime that I've gone over that are fan servicey. Kind of. There are a couple of colorful characters outside of the main character who are, let's just say, interesting. But I'm going to leave it at that and leave it up to you to go and watch it if you so desire to do so. Another anime I don't really remember a lot about that I'm about to go over is Kiba. No, not the dog boy from Naruto. This was about I might actually have to read the synopsis for this one because I don't remember specifically. Yeah, I don't remember a lot about this one. I remember it involved, like, obviously supernatural abilities. I think there was, like, spirit guardians, like Stans or, like, in Shaman King or something like that. Friends turning on each other halfway through and then recollecting after they have it out with each other, and it is like 50 something episodes maybe, right? Yeah, 51 episodes. But since I can't remember specific about it, I'm going to say check out a few episodes, see if you like it or not, and simply leave it at that. Anyway, here's on to another one that people will know more about, Kill la Kill, which is easier to read off about because tons of fan service, an incestuous lesbian mother, which we don't find out about till like the last 3 episodes or something. Lots of comedy, lots of action, lots of gay stuff. And, well, the plot's just honestly really stupid. You know, it's against people who are demanding people to wear more clothes versus people who don't want to wear any clothes, and it's just weird. It's a really weird show, but it's also one of the highest rated anime of all time, so if you haven't watched it yet, what are you doing, fam? Go watch it, and I'm just gonna honestly leave that as a quick minute-long review because I don't remember specifics, I just remember it's really good. Parasyte, though. Or not Parasyte, Your Name. Your Name is the next one. Parasyte's after that. Your Name is an anime movie that just came out recently and was up for an award, even here in America, I'm pretty sure. That's another one of those time travel-y kind of anime where 2 people share the same existence, in a sense, so they can help each other out. You know, one helping the other out from some sort of disaster to happen in the past. And along the way, they're trying to understand what's going on about being in each other's subconscious or whatever. And eventually, one of the consciousness find out that the one in the past, supposedly, went through a terrible tragedy. So he goes about doing everything he can to stop it. And like I said, it's one of the highest rated movies in recent history, so watching it is a must. At least if you're into that kind of thing. But I'm going to leave that as another really quick one, because it's a movie. What honestly am I going to say about it? Parasyte. Now it's time for Parasyte, which... Have you guys seen Supernatural? Do you remember the Leviathan arc? It's kind of like that. You know, the parasites come to the planet Earth and start murdering people and imitating them to try and take over the planet, in a sense, while also keeping themselves alive. Except for one specific parasite who only melded with its host and eventually became his ally and friend. And along the way, you know, you have your typical nerdy kid turns into a badass because of this accident that happens to him. And the girl who was his childhood friend falls more in love with him for things other than that reason. And they eventually bang, and there's also someone who was his main antagonist who kind of became an ally near the end of her lifespan. You know, the cops are after all these alien weirdos once they learn about it. Did they even learn about it? I don't remember. And, well, yeah, honestly, it's pretty much just that. You know, it's just the supernatural season of the Leviathans with, like, one of the heroes being able to control the parasite that took over part of his body, in a sense, eventually. But it was another one of those really good shows that was pretty short, so I'm just gonna cap it off and quickly say to watch it, because I will move on with an easy timestamp to Kizniver, which, again, I don't remember a ton about, and I feel bad for, but I knew I wasn't gonna remember a ton about a lot of these shows in this one. But for Kizniver, a bunch of kids were experimented on in a lab, and they didn't remember until later on when they re-met and started talking to each other on a regular basis instead of separating and not talking as much as they used to. You know, they can feel each other's pains, both physical and emotional, and that unwinds to a whole bunch of drama between them, but also a bunch of really cool moments, because I think there's like another supernatural or sci-fi kind of aspect about it. You know, a few pretty good fight scenes, as well as a bunch of brain teasers and all that kind of stuff. But another one of those that I'm going to have to keep short and sweet, because I haven't seen it in a while and I don't remember a ton about it. I just remember those basic things. So, yeah. But to go into an anime that's actually getting a new season soon, now that the company has rebuilt themselves after being attacked. Oh, wow, I actually skipped over one of the shows I meant to write down. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Was that the right English name? Whatever. Which follows the story of a maid who... Well, a dragon who shows up unannounced to a working woman's home and ends up to be a pretty hot girl and requests that she be the other's maid. Free of charge, except for living. The two barely get along at first. You know, characters come around here and there to try and bring our dragon, you know, away from the human, because humans are bad, oh no. Which isn't really a lie, but that's, again, neither here nor there. And, you have your funny moments, your emotional moments, your fan service moments, at least between the three characters where it's intended, and something that's kind of like Fate Prisma, but even more awkward. But with that I'm ignoring, because that's more of a comedic bit than anything, in my opinion. But there's a second season coming out soon, so that obviously means it's kind of good, right? It's not like Hatelia, where there's like 5 seasons to it, and it's meh. Like, this anime is only like 12, 24, how many episodes? 13 episodes long, and it covers enough ground plot-wise to make you realize, wow, there's a lot of context to all this to go through, and it's really good. But I say that about pretty much anything, don't I? Anyway, we're going to move over to Konosuba, which Konosuba follows the story of another isekai NEET, kind of like ReZero, to which I'll also get to in the future, as I was explained before. And Kazuma, basically, I don't remember a lot of this, but he died, and he meets up with a goddess, and to punish her, he decides to take her with him, which honestly ends up punishing him more than anything. But after they land in this isekai world, the two of them go about their business. You know, he learns some stuff, they meet some friends. He, for some reason, gets arrested. I don't remember the specifics, but that's how we move into season 2. But the rest of season 1 is just basically him and his friends doing missions. Season 2 is more about exploring plot and stuff, with a bunch of fan service thrown into both seasons. I don't know if there's going to be a third season. I haven't seen the movie yet. I still need to. I'll get a review on that out when I do. But as far as both seasons of Konosuba goes, it's honestly one of my favorite comedy anime of all time. So, watch it. And quickly segueing into Konohana Kitan, because I don't have a lot to explain about Konosuba. So as for this show, it's a little one of those, oh shit, well, I can't really give a proper review on Black Butler, so I'm just not even gonna bother to return to that one. Sorry. This is a story about a fox spirit girl who decides to go to work at a hot spring, and a bunch of really weird situations unfold around that hot spring that just turn into a bunch of comedic bits here and there. Between people transforming, people shrinking, and people, I think even people turning invisible at one point or another. But it's another short, cute, funny kind of show that's mostly wholesome, aside like one fan servicey bit, as I remember. Except for the mistress of the hot spring, because in her human hybrid form, she's actually pretty hot. But anyway, yeah, I actually don't have a lot more to say about that one, so I'm just gonna quickly move into the last one of the episode, which is Beyond the Boundary, which I held off on watching this show for so long, and I don't know why, but I am glad that I eventually got to it, because it was a really good show, you know. Our main character is a guy who doesn't know what the hell is going on half the time, and a girl who is trying to get better at her job, per se, which is stopping the evil forces from a different dimensional plane of sorts. And yeah, throughout the show, she doubts her abilities, so other people have to try and help her out before she just, snaps and does her thing even better than most normally would think she can. But the last episode, as I remember, was a really cool, badass fight scene that she has to save the male main character, and I don't remember a lot about this show either, so this is actually going to be a shorter one. But hell, I just reviewed like over a dozen anime, and it only took me like 20 some odd minutes because I barely remember shit about most of them. But if I rewatch them, I'll give more clear reviews. If you think I need to rewatch any of them or have something else for me to watch, comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to this and the gaming channel. Hit the like button, ring the bell, like Facebook, follow Twitter, Twitch, because I stream gaming content every single day. And might throw in anime eventually with all of that. And until next time, has been the Blaze of King with King's Critiques, signing out. Ta-ta for now. Peace.